So some of these people that are claiming that they understand the people's plight, they have never experienced it in any way. They've never experienced it one moment of their life.
But this one no experience it, man.
Experience what?
The pressure. I'm not saying born in a 2-bedroom house at Cumberland Road. And
that the Prime Minister can say that he has had some experience. But Darrell can never ever say that he had that experience. And then among those who have had experience, you always have a little one who willing to sell out to fit in.
Oh!
You know, so...
you try coconut them.
Yeah. But sometimes you should never assign malice to incompetence. And maybe the Prime Minister is simply incompetent. Maybe he's not malicious. Maybe he really wouldn't mind to do a better job, but he doesn't capable of doing it.
You really think he's incapable, or you think him just become greedy?
He might also be greedy. Two things can be true. But I've never been impressed by a thought from the Prime Minister. For example, Carl Samuda, I believe is a brilliant person. I've heard him speak in Parliament, and I was impressed with his thoughts. Mike Henry, I've heard him speak in Parliament. I'll give you an example from Mike Henry, who has been promoting the train system for the longest time. Yeah. The first time I heard it, I was like, this don't make any sense. Where I go back to train and all of that. In recent time, having gone down to Linstead, you'd be surprised how important the train is for the children moving from Linstead to Spanish Town. Now, that impressed me to say, oh yeah, now I'm seeing it. That person's thought process was deeper than ABC 1, 2, 3. The Prime Minister, in my opinion, is generally an ABC thinker. And small minds can solve big problems. And that's what we make a have.
Minister, wait. So you're basically saying the Prime Minister shallow-minded?
It's basic.
Oh, very basic. So you say him not advanced, him not master.
He thinks linear. He thinks 1, 2, 3. When the problems are 1, 9, 15, 6, 1, 2, 7, 9, he thinks in a linear way. For example, we're going to
take a shapeshifter and take every farm.
Well, he fits in, but all right, let's look at some of the things that he's granted as gifts, right? Yesterday, they're basic things. If you're a pensioner and you owe money, we are going to write off the money and reconnect your water. That's a good thing. Nobody can deny that for that person.
Yes.
However, that don't solve that person's problem or any problem, because if the circumstances of the person don't change, then 6 months' time, they'll owe again.
Yes, very basic thinking.
So therefore, the thinking is basic because it only grants a very short-term reprieve. Because there's no policy to suggest that in the 6 months that they owe again or 3 months, that person will get further reprieve. There's no policy for continuous reprieve.
Yes.
Now, what is the reason why they owed in the first place have never been considered by this individual. And one of the number of reasons why the elderly live a lower quality of life in Jamaica is because of the unlikely ownership of a house.
Yes.
In the attempt to own a home, most of us will take a mortgage. Mm-hmm. The mortgage ends at the point of retirement, usually 65. Mm-hmm. And so the cost of housing should be dramatically reduced because you now own a home and therefore you don't pay mortgage anymore, you're just living in the house. Mm-hmm. That's not the same for an elderly who's paying rent. Mm-hmm. The cost of housing is maintained. However, your income is dramatically reduced.
Yes.
So when you're paying rent, in fact, while the mortgage remains constant, the rent continuously increases over time. Mm-hmm. So when you used to make 100,000 and now you're getting a pension and that might be 40,000. I'm just using numbers; these are not actual numbers. You now have to still pay rent, which might have been 50,000. And so now you can't pay your water bill, you can't pay your light bill, you can't even buy food sustainably.
Yeah.
So a solution to age poverty, meaning poverty in retirement, starts with a reasonable strategy of house ownership in their youth. So while he's offering reprieve, he should be offering a solution of proper housing.
Yes.
But a basic thinker just thinks that, oh, see, this is a little problem here.
Oh, so
and I'm going to
give them something have a feel good experience.
Yeah, so what he has done is to make proposal that might improve your day, but it won't improve your life.
Right.
You understand? Oh, we're giving you $20,000 in a cashback. 20,000 will improve your day, but 20,000 can't improve your life.
Right. So it is just a feel-good, euphoric moment. Nothing that is substantive and substantial for the individual to say, boy, them better off.
Yeah, it's a fruit of an unimaginative tree that don't question things, that don't consider realities. That say, oh, we're gonna cut GCT on your light bill. We don't go into the facts that that's $300, but.
Wait. Because I was explaining it to the people last night. You are the matter.
Yes.
In SEMA cut the GCT off of the electricity by 53%. Mama P did cut the GCT totally. Am I correct?
Yes, she did propose that, yeah.
Okay. And then him come back now and him say him cut it. The Labour Party did introduce it again and put back the GCT. And him now come to say him take it off by 53%. Can you explain to the people tonight how much really them are really a take off?
Well, GCT is not on the first portion of your bill, so therefore there is a particular consumption that is GCT free. But the major point is that the person who is most wealthy will consume more electricity because they have a bigger house, they have AC, they have more TV, they have a bigger fridge, possibly have a freezer. So when you do a subsidy as a percent, meaning remove a particular percent, the person who is more wealthy gets a greater benefit, and the person who is least wealthy get less of a benefit.
Oh,
now there's no justice.
Only benefiting a particular threshold of film people there.
But I don't think that was his intent. I just don't think that he thinks.
Oh, yeah, sure, Senator.
That's why, because if that was his intent, he's wicked. If that's how he's think, he's just not that smart. And I prefer to believe he's not that smart than to assume he's wicked. Because a person whose light bill is $40,000 is going to get a greater benefit. And the person whose light bill is $40,000, his salary is likely $1 million. Than the person whose light bill is $3,000 and his salary is $15,000. So a better strategy for contributing to bills, which we recommended and they stole initially.
Yes.
When Nigel was there, so maybe Nigel was the mind behind it, is to give a flat rate. Is to say, all right, we're taking out $500 off everybody one. If you take out $500 off everybody one, then the man who pays $3,000 get a greater percentage benefit than the man who pay $40,000. So the man who pay, let us say $10,000 just for the mathematics. If you take $500 off that would be 5%. And the man who pay $1,000, if you take 500 off that, that's 50%. So when you get this flat rate, it benefits the poor more than it benefits the rich, even though it is a flat rate. When you give a percentage, let's say 10%, the man who pay $10,000 get $1,000, and the man who pay $1,000 only get $100. So how is it a good approach to give the poorest man $100 and the richest man $1,000?
But there is a similarity with you and Nigel, is that one Nigel come from a PNP yard, two a mathematician. You a mathematician. I don't think Andrew have a mathematical brain. So you have to see with the basic thinker.
Yeah, I think he's basic. I mean, not dissimilar because some people can run fast and some people run slow. Some people jump high is a talent. He doesn't have that talent.
So what do you think about Favour Williams? Because have you ever seen a finance minister, a finance spokesperson don't speak at their political conference?
Yes, I've seen that yesterday.
What is that?
Finance Minister Favour Williams says the government will give up $1.5 billion to make the energy bill reduction plan work. For the administration, it is not a lot.
Senator Crawford!
Yes, you never watch it. I saw it yesterday.
But in your lifetime, you're about 40 now, am I correct?
Yes, I'm 44 now, October, God, yes.
You're 44?
Yeah. To me, it was not in all and everything, let me just look at you.
You're not in them business.
My make me wake up the baby.
Oh, my apologies. Baby is here. But you have never, prior to now, you have never seen a finance minister not speaking at a conference. What do you think is happening? Because last week he presented something called Pivot. And now him come talking about all of the financial plans that the JLP will be doing. Where is the finance minister in all of this?
Well, in the context of the importance of the finance conversation to the election, right? Because everybody's talking about the economy and running the economy, and Nigel was their shining star. One would presume you would want to highlight to the public the competence of the current person that is replacing someone that they thought was competent. But maybe, having done their analysis, it would be risky to try and suggest competence where competence don't exist. So it seemed to me that they are worried about exposing the current financial minister to the public. And that is something that the public should be very concerned about.
What can go so?
Remember that statement was about the performance of the current finance minister in another capacity in education. And she achieved 18% passes in 5 years. If she achieved 18% of the targets that the finance ministry have said, we've been in trouble.
Yes.
So I think that they're worried about exposing her. Maybe she's needing some time to catch on to the principles, the concepts, the ministry she's new to the ministry, but maybe she needs some time. So we can watch and see, because maybe we'll see the first in our history of a finance minister not reading the budget.
What is that?
Well, we just have to watch and see. I don't know. But maybe in March, Andrew will read the opening speech and the Prime Minister's speech and the closing speech. Maybe he reads these speeches.
This not sound right. No,
he had intended to take the ministry himself, you know that.
Yes, we're aware, but we did put pressure on it.
Yes. So therefore, this is not his first choice.
So it is his second choice.
Maybe his fifth choice. Because you remember, you have to be elected also to be a minister of finance.
Oh.
I heard rumors that they're trying to recruit some people to come in. And she was in the Ministry of Finance before, and Nigel was recruited and surpassed her to get the ministry. So he doesn't seem to have great confidence in the current person. But would you have great confidence?
So basically you're saying she's the de facto minister?
Well, based on confidence, I'm saying he doesn't seem to have great confidence in the minister. He should have exposed the minister. He should have suggested to the public, you're in safe hands. This is the competence that we have. And they didn't take that opportunity. the public rightfully should question why.
But I know that you listen to everything because you're a man that you observe a lot, but you equally speak a lot.
Mm.
Have you realized that no analyst or media personality has questioned whether or not why the finance minister never spoke at the conference?
Well, when dog bite man, nobody make news. Is when man bite dog, it make news. We all expected that she wouldn't speak, so it is kind of, it's like nobody might have even thought of it because nobody expected to hear her speak.
Oh,
You
so
understand?
no, I was actually looking forward because you're championing her as the first female finance minister the country has had. So
Yes.
I have the view that therefore this knight and shining armor should be able to even get a 5 to 10 minutes to speak about the country's financial affairs.
Well, there's a segment that Juliet Holness, is it honorable, that she spoke about women. The first female finance minister would have been positioned in that spot to speak to women as well, as the finance and the certainty of financial continued performance that they pose. So she could have been positioned to speak on continuing from what people think of Nigel if they think that he was a good performer. She could have been in the female section. There's a part that Kamina Johnson-Smith spoke where in the political considerations, foreign affairs isn't a major mover of political thought or political support. So to choose Kamina over the Minister of Finance is also crazy. But if you have greater confidence in Kamina than the Minister of Finance, it is logical to do so. So I can understand from a political standpoint why they would be fearful if they don't have the confidence.
So do you believe it's our ability to speak, or do you believe is our ability to articulate the financial? What do you think? Because you're saying that them basically cover and shield her. What they're covering and shielding her from?
I don't think she's incapable of speaking. I've heard her speak before. She's not very verbose, but she's not incapable. None of the people that I heard yesterday were great speakers. So it can't be that, she's not very eloquent and, for want of a better word, because none of the people I heard were extremely eloquent. So that shouldn't have been a disqualifying factor. It could be that she's new to the ministry. It could be that she's not currently fully au fait with what is happening, but that would be an unfair decision by the Prime Minister, because we knew that Nigel was leaving for a very long time. A reasonable Prime Minister would have then tried to find Nigel's replacement, have that person assigned to the ministry for a period of time while he's there so that he could properly hand over and then move forward. It is when Nigel basically had left, he then said that he thought about it just today when the person asked him, and then he made the assignment. So if it is that her current time is of concern, that is the making of the Prime Minister. He could have decided long before. To, as soon as we knew Nigel was migrating, and he said he knew before the announcement that he could have placed a person in the ministry as a full minister, even if not the Minister of Finance. He could have also placed the person as the Minister of Finance and repositioned Nigel for 3 months as their deputy, so that they could then transition properly. Or he expects 18% from her.
So you grave the concern then, Senator, that if she could deliver only 18% over the past 4 years, Jamaica should be concerned about the financial stability. Worse, that we have had negative financial growth in the last 3 consecutive quarters. that you would call technical recession. Not so the Senator Crawford.
Yes, yes.
So if you have technical recession and then you give the ministry to somebody who has produced only 18% on CXC passes, that must sound like doom and gloom.
And add to that, I've never had a good idea. I've never heard a good idea from the minister. So, okay, we have a problem in education. But I would like for somebody to tell me what idea they've ever heard to say, oh yeah, we could try that, or if we try that, it would be good. I've never heard a good idea. So what I'm trying to say is that you don't have to take sleep mark that, because sleep only look like that.
Mm-hmm.
You can take death mark that.
Oh Lord. So you said so it's basically, I don't want to prescribe it, but you're saying that the Ministry of Finance get gangrene.
It looks so. We should expect that. But maybe they're not going to we reach another budget. Maybe they won't trust her to read a budget, so they'll call the election before. And then they will call that election, and maybe we will have an opportunity to carry better ideas to the public.
Reasonable. So you think them going to call an election before? Because in my analysis, Senator, I don't think you're in a position between now and April to call, or even May. I think they will be placed in a position to call the election right to this September, or probably even a grace period.
You ever hear them say you're in between a hard place and a hard place?
Mm-hmm.
That is worse than a rock and a hard place, because you could have made a choice, but I prefer the rock. When you look at what is happening, for example, there's 7 more Integrity Commission reports.
Mm-hmm.
Between now and September, how many might come out? 2, 3, 4?
7.
That can be beneficial to the party.
Mm-hmm.
So those 7 are going to be of concern. The economy is declining and seemingly will continue to decline. If you wait until September, then the person who you never even wanted to speak for 5 minutes at the conference will speak for 3 hours in the parliament.
Wow.
That's the Minister of Finance. Mm-hmm. That might lead to a reduction in confidence in the JLP's ability to manage the economy. Mm-hmm. So going past March might be difficult. The inflationary impacts of the rains and all of that will continue, and their unwillingness to abate inflation in any meaningful way will make the suffering continue. The promises are so basic that on implementation, people will immediately be dissatisfied. Mm-hmm. So by extension, the promise of greater value as a promise than when it is like, somebody will put on wig and makeup and everything, and when you go home and say, yes, I'm a nice lady, and then you get ready now, and when you get ready and she take off the wig and everything is, oh my God, this is not a nice lady at all. That's what the promises are. So. Within the first 100 days of government, we will start the legislative process to introduce term limits on the office of Prime Minister. So they have greater value, in my opinion, as a promise, because they don't have much capacity to really satisfy the desires of the people. So a man now who can't calculate will say, yeah, my light bill have a less. When he sees that it is $40 or $60, he's then disappointed. A person who heard this thing and never hear him say pensioners, I go say, yeah, my water, but I write off my water debt, and then realize, oh, I'm not 65. Don't have that value. The person who say, yeah, man, pick me up to get a school bus, when I realize that is 1 per constituency, approximately, will realize that don't make no sense. So the actual value of the idea serves the JLP better before its implementation. So when I look at all of those realities, I don't believe that they're going to go until September. They would want to, because the trend is against them, but I can't see them getting any better. Time is only a friend if time improves your circumstance, and time will not improve the JLP circumstances.
So you're saying nothing will give the... So you're saying if him call it March, him doom, and if him call it September, him doom.
Him doomer.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
In September, it will be worse. Because, you see, remember, you have back to school expenses, you have all of that. And there's
another hurricane on that.
Another hurricane, more rain. The roads won't be fixed. For example, it takes about $40 million to do a kilometer of roads.
Stay tuned for more PDTV News Evening Highlights.